All right, I've got, I'm going to kind of combine a couple questions here. We have some people here who, someone says that they're over 60, someone says that they're over 70, and they've been writing for a while, and they're wondering if age is a problem trying to break in.
I don't think so. No, not at all. Again, it depends on your passion, and it depends on how much work you're willing to put into it. I mean, if it's one of those things where it's a hobby or a pastime, or you kind of sketch here and there, and you're not willing to put in the work, and that's true of anybody at any age, truly. Then I think you have to temper your expectations. If you are doing everything we're talking about, it doesn't matter. I think we've had a couple of writers with us who are 50s, 60s, who write phenomenal material, and they're getting fantastic meetings with people. And they're getting projects option, they're getting, representation. Age to me doesn't matter. And in fact, what matters to me is a voice and somebody that has something different to say. I was just having coffee with an agent yesterday who told me, he said, I'm getting the same 5 scripts. I'm getting the same version of, a different version of the same concept. What's something new? What's something different? And I think there's a lot of opportunity for new voices. And that new voice doesn't mean young voice necessarily. I think it actually means somebody who's willing to put in the work and have something different.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. Like I have a saying that blaming an ism is an excuse. And so sexism, ageism, any other ism you can think of, it's an excuse. Story wins the day.
Totally.
When somebody picks up a script, yeah, sure, they probably could figure out if you're male or female based on the name, maybe. But they don't know how old you are.
Right.
They don't know where you live.
Where you come from.
Where you come. They don't know anything. What they know is that when they crack that thing open and it says fade in, they're going into a story. And it's all about how well you tell that story and how marketable that story is, and whether that person is a target for the market that story is, the story's about to take place in. We've had, I think, Amanda, you could correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think 2 of our last 3 or 4 contest winners were over 50. They got meetings galore. Nobody, not one executive said, they're too old, they're too this, they're too that.
It just doesn't, yeah.
Here's what we told them, okay? You already got in the room. Now you have to stay in the room.
Right.
So now it's up to you to be prepared, to know the targets, which we prepped you before. We tell them everything they need to know, but still, be prepared, know your story, why you, why them, and any other value you could bring as to, you're always, here's the other thing. You're always, as a writer, as a creative, as an actor, you're always selling yourself, right?
Totally.
If you're an actor and you're going in front of in an audition, you're selling yourself, right? You're selling your talent. Yeah. You're selling your ability to do this role. If you're a writer, you're selling through your story and your ability to write and whether that fits in the marketplace, and then you're selling it in the room.
Right.
And you got to be prepared for that.
I'll give you a perfect example of that. It was another blog I wrote for Stage 32, where I talked about the youngest director to win an Academy Award, the oldest, right? Clint Eastwood was 74 years old when he won for $1 Million Baby. That's the oldest director to ever win. Now you're saying, all right, well, that's Clint Eastwood, right? Well, it was actually incredibly difficult for an A-list director, A-list star who had already won multiple Academy Awards to get a project made. It was the producer, The Godfather, who had a project, had a hard time getting this project made. These guys, they grind, they worked, they put it together. Then you have the youngest director to ever win who couldn't get financing for his feature film, so he made a short that did incredibly well at Sundance, turns into the feature film Whiplash, which he then is able to do La La Land, which he wins an Academy Award for at the age 32. Age does not matter. It's the grind that matters.
It's the grind, man, and it's understanding the business, and again, not to beat it into the ground, but it's relationships.
Totally.
It's relationships.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely agree on that. And I'll actually add to it. It was our sci-fi contest winner. He's in his 60s, and again, the writing won the day. And we set him up with a meeting. He's based in Illinois. We flew him out here, and one of the agents that we set him up with actually just sent his script to Atlas Entertainment, and Atlas does Suicide Squad, they did Wonder Woman, they did, they did Justice League. I mean, they really are incredible, and age didn't matter at all.
Great story wins the day. Look, James Ivory, great. He was, a famous novelist, and he's done a million things along the way and everything like that. But they hired him to write Call Me by Your Name. He was 89.
Yeah.
I went for he wanted a guy. Didn't he win? Yeah. He won. He won a couple of years ago, right? He won for best adapted screenplay. 89.
Yeah.
They didn't go, he's too old to know about two gay, 20-something, two 20-something gay men. They went, he's a fucking great writer. He could bring this thing home.
Right.
So again, it's story.
And again, what's the next thing too, right? Always creating. What I think when I meet our sci-fi winner, the first thing I'm going to say is, what's next? What's next on the agenda? Don't be complacent with, this is at Atlas, or it's getting set up here or there. It's like, what's the next thing, man? Let's start creating again. It's got to be you have got to be a fountain of creativity and writing.
And that actually brings me back to Chazelle, because it's a great blog. I hope, man, just put that blog up. You should put that blog up too. It's another one that Jason wrote about, the Whiplash one and the Eastwood one that he was just talking about. People don't know. A lot of people don't know this story. Whiplash, the short, premieres at Sundance. Bold Films takes a shine to it and says, this is amazing. This kid's a really great director. And they go to Chazelle and they say, what do you want to do next? And Chazelle throws them the idea for La La Land. So they're like, okay, wait a second. You're like 29 at the time, and you want to do a major feature musical. And when musicals are dead right now, which they were, in the marketplace, what else do you want to do? How about, and he's like, well, we could turn this into a feature film. And they're like, well, that's a lot more safe, because that's a $4 million movie as opposed to a $40 million movie. So what does he do? He goes and makes Whiplash. The thing's a huge hit. Gets, Oscar nominations galore, Spirit nominations galore, and wins galore. And now everybody goes, what do you want to do next?
What do you want to do next?
And he goes, La La Land. And everybody's throwing money at it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So again, you got to know. First Man, I mean, he went from 4 million to, I think, 30 million. So First Man was probably like 80 million. So it just goes to show you. You know what I mean? You have to know what you want to do next. You have to know the market. You have to be able to navigate that. Because if he would have sat there and said, no, La La Land. No, La La Land. No,
or even worse, I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you got?